Our triggers are our teachers. And if you're noticing that you're getting triggered by maybe your partner's energy, then you can start to recognize that that is just information for your body that's sending you a signal. It doesn't mean that anybody's doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that what you're experiencing as anxiety is a problem. It's an invitation for you to pause, take a beat, notice what's going on in your body, and to cultivate that safety within yourself to acknowledge that, oh, it's happening because of this. Do you know in your bones that you're meant for a life that feels free and expansive? Are you ready for a conscious relationship that honors every facet of who you are as a woman, partner, mama, professional, and everything in between? If so, you're in the right place. I'm Kaya Dawn, a conscious relationship and shadow work guide who helps high-achieving, spiritual-minded women trust their body's wisdom and create partnerships where they feel just as supported as they are supportive. Lace up those sneakers, babe, and let's go on a hot girl walk together to dish about what it means to be the woman behind it all. Hello, my love, and welcome back. And we are going to be continuing our 3-part series on talking about relationship physics, the deeper energetic undertones that are influencing your relationship to either be creating more depth, safety, and connection, or more division and disconnection. And I'm super excited to talk about the law of energetic transmission today, but I do want to invite you to go back and listen to the first episode, if you have not, to where we talked about the 3 different energetic dimensions that are running beneath the scenes of your relationship, and those being emotional, sexual, and spiritual channels that really help you feel safe or not. And I am super excited about this series because my whole intention and purpose in life is multifaceted, of course, but it really comes down to educating you on the deeper energetic undertones that are creating that depth and safety in our relationships or not, and really helping you to increase your awareness about them. And also doing this work and understanding this work and integrating it into your life and your relationships, because I truly believe that having a conscious, safe, reciprocal, fun, romantic, intimate, vulnerable relationship is your birthright. And by doing this work and diving into all of these different topics that I talk about, I believe it's a vehicle to help you do that. And so today, like I mentioned before, we're going to be diving into the law of energetic transmission. And this goes perfectly with the first episode talking about the dimensions, because it's really talking about the relationship physics that your body is constantly picking up on before your conscious mind catches up. And even though, let's say with this law of energetic transmission, this is all about your cells in your nervous system doing 2 things at all time. They are listening and responding. And so this perfectly plays into whenever you walk up to someone and you can tell if they're having a bad day or not, right? Your nervous system picks up on that energy before your conscious mind even perceives it. And the same goes for, if someone's having a great day or if someone feels a little sketchy. It's like you might not always know why, but your body knows because it picks up on the subtler undertones of what their frequency is. And thank God your nervous system is reading that energy, because it's keeping you safe. And it's also increasing your awareness of how to read people. And the more attuned to that you can get, the more you can protect your energy if you need to, right? Respect that person, give them their space, or you can step up to them and be like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? I know that there's a lot of factors that, will inform whether you do that or not, of how close you are in your relationship, of, if they're a stranger or not. Who knows? Maybe you're willing to do that to a stranger. It just depends on the situation. But either way, this is sacred information. So, as you can see, this aspect of reading people's energy and becoming more attuned to the subtle energetics can be applied to any relationship with your child, with your parent, with a family member, with a coworker, with a friend, obviously. However, you know me, your girl likes to focus on our one-to-one intimate relationships, because I truly believe that that's really what influences the rest of our lives, right? Whether you have success in your business or not, it kind of comes back to how your relationship with your intimate partner is, and so on and so forth. There's a lot more examples I could give around that, but I think you pick up what I'm putting down. And so let's go ahead and start to dive into the content for today and really getting into the first core concept of what the law of energetic transmission is about. And so, like I mentioned before, this is about how your nervous system is constantly broadcasting and reading the energetic frequency that someone else is emitting, or even that you're emitting, like a radio station. And your partner's nervous system is constantly tuning into that same frequency and responding to what it's picking up as well, which is why it's really important to do this energetic maintenance and to, we're not going to be perfect all the time. We're not going to always be aware. Like, we're going to kind of go on autopilot. It happens. It's just kind of like how your posture tends to drop back into like a slouched posture, or maybe you tuck your tail or squeeze your butt or whatever. It's like you can correct your posture whenever you catch it. However, you're going to slip back into it. And it's just about readjusting whenever you notice it. And so the same thing goes for here. And so please do your best to be kind and patient with yourself and with your partner, but do increase your awareness around all of this because it can be life, body, and relationship changing. And so let's take an example here about this energetic transmission. So let's talk about whenever you might be feeling a little anxious and angsty and what's going on there. So that anxiety, let's call it, and you are not anxious, you're experiencing anxiety, right? But that is being transmitted, and it can put the other person on alert, no matter how loving your words might be, no matter how you might be saying, I'm fine, don't worry about it. They can feel that energy. And as we've talked about before, dysregulation generally causes more dysregulation. However, regulation can cause regulation in another. This is because our nervous systems have evolved to read safety and threat signals from each other or from the environment for survival. And so your partner's body is designed to pick up on your energetic state and match it or respond to it just as yours to theirs. And we can't help it. It's happening automatically beneath our conscious awareness because it's so much faster than our conscious mind, because our bodies are picking up 11 bits of information each second, while our brains are only actually able to read about 5% of that. And so, this is why those deeper energetic undertones in your relationships matter so much, because you can say the exact same words in two different conversations and get two completely different responses based on your energetic state, because it's not really about the words, it's about the energetic frequency that you're broadcasting when you say them. So I think this is a really beautiful practice to start to increase your awareness about, because whenever you understand that this is happening beneath the scenes, then you can extend that understanding and compassion and empathy to the other person, and also take responsibility for your role in the relationship, right? Our triggers are our teachers. And if you're noticing that you're getting triggered by maybe your partner's energy, then you can start to recognize that that is just information for your body that's sending you a signal. It doesn't mean that anybody's doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that your anxiety is a problem, or what you're experiencing as anxiety is a problem. It's an invitation for you to pause, take a beat, notice what's going on in your body, and to cultivate that safety within yourself to acknowledge that, oh, it's happening because of this. And when you take it even deeper into understanding the gene keys and really recognizing what maybe your shadow patterns are, or what the shadow patterns of your partners are, and how those might be showing up in your expression, then it really allows you to extend that understanding and empathy and compassion to them, to notice that they're just in a lower frequency state right now, or I'm in a lower frequency state right now. And maybe you can put because XYZ happened, or maybe you don't know and you're just feeling that way. But either way, understanding what you and your partner's gene keys are can really be this opportunity for you to take more of this observer perspective on these relationship physics and this law of energetic transmission that is being emitted, so that you don't have to necessarily take it personally, and you can allow yourself to be in your process of catching that, right? And of contemplating the city that you are here to express, and then moving through the gift. And the same for your partner. You can understand that, oh, maybe they're just in a lower frequency state right now because of X, Y, and Z. And I don't have to take it personally. You're not responsible for their energy and for their emotional state or their energetic state. However, you can support them through it potentially. If you notice that they're triggered or notice that they're upset, then you can extend that compassion and you can ask them, hey, how can I support you? Or you can do that for yourself first. And maybe by you doing that for yourself and also doing that for them, then you can open up that door for your partner to do the same for you, right? That energetic reciprocity. And while I can't guarantee that that will happen, it is a beautiful opportunity that it absolutely can, because it happens in my relationship. And I do want to just share a quick story about how my gene keys shadows have shown up in my relationship, not only from my perspective, but even witnessing those of my fiancés, because I think it'll be really supportive for you and it'll just take a couple minutes. So, whenever Christian and I first got together, it happened really fast, honestly. After I separated from my ex of 13 years, he came into my life 2 weeks later. And I thought I was going to be Miss Independent and be with my baby and just like do my own thing for a while. And then he dropped into my lap because apparently I was ready for a relationship. And at the same time, I was terrified that I was going to lose myself in this relationship like I had the last. And so I was very energetically sensitive to his energy. And I was really on alert, honestly, from a it was kind of like I vacillated between a lower frequency and the higher frequencies, because in some ways I freaking loved his grounding energy and how he, like, his sacral just lit up my sacral. My sacral and my human design body graph is completely wide open. I have no gate activations, and he is a pure generator, and so his sacral is defined all the time. And so I was super highty flighty, like really expansive and open and like happy and excited all the time. And honestly, my blood pressure was really high because I was just in this really elevated state all the time, because I was so happy to be out of that relationship and be really independent. However, whenever I would get in his energy, I vacillated between feeling really grounded and loving and just like ushy gushy and really grateful for his energy of how it brought me down. But on the inverse of that, from the fear of losing my independence and myself in this relationship, I was like, his energy is kind of bringing me down. And it was really playing into my 12th gene key, Shadow of Vanity. And vanity is not so much about like, oh, I'm really superficial and care about how I look. It's more so about having this fear that someone else can take away your freedom and independence. And that was totally it. And so I literally told him like a couple of times, I was like, your energy is like a lot for me right now. And again, I was very energetically sensitive, and more so then than I am now. And I was like, if you're in this kind of mood, like, I want to ask you to not come over, because it just like it's activating me, like it's dysregulating me, and I was dysregulating myself. Like he wasn't necessarily doing anything, and it took me a while to actually pinpoint that I was coming from that shadow of vanity. And again, I would vacillate between really liking it and appreciating it versus making it mean something about him and about me and about our relationship, and like I was losing myself. And so it's really important to share these things with you, because energetics are subtle and it happens in ways that you don't really understand, and it just happens before you can consciously pick up on it. Or if you don't have the language and the context for it, it's more difficult to see, and you make it mean something about yourself or about them or about the relationship itself, and you push people away. And I want to help you to avoid making the same mistake that I made. And so for me, with this shadow of vanity, it was trying to lend me towards the higher frequencies of the gift of discrimination and the city of purity. And really, what was going on was I wanted to live in my purest, highest expression. I wanted to embody that. And that comes through taking action through that gift of discrimination and being able to discriminate and discern what is fear and lack and ego versus what is love and abundance and that purity, right? The refinement, and being able to discern what is your head and your heart. And so, whenever I learned about my specific gene key, and also just side note, this is in my SQ sphere. And it really allowed me to appreciate Christian more and about his energy that he brought me and really lean into more of that ushy gushy grounded sacral energy that was really grounding and safe for me, and stop making him the problem that I was super hidey flighty before, but that wasn't necessarily always a good thing, right? I was really unstable, honestly, and like dysregulated in a way that was like not sustainable. Like I couldn't continue to live with my heart rate elevated and like I was hardly eating and I was sleeping like 4 hours a night. Like that wasn't healthy or sustainable. And so I really just wanted to share that story because again, energetics are subtle and these things happen really unconsciously, but the more conscious awareness that we can shine on these patterns that are happening, the more that we can shift them and really be more discerning about what is happening in those energetics and in your relationship. And then I want to share just a little bit about Christian and his gene keys because it's a way of me reading into him that has been really supportive for me to not make him a bad guy or think anything's wrong. And so one of his prominent gene keys, it's in his purpose sphere. He has the 60th gene key, and this is the shadow of limitation, the gift of realism, and the city of justice. And for Christian, he is very realistic. I'm more Heidi flighty. I just am. I'm more intuitive. I'm more spiritual. Like we as women just tend to be more of that role. And then for the men, they're more in the 3D plane, I like to say. They're kind of more like dense in ways, not always, but they tend to be. And they're not as spiritually attuned as we are. And that's perfect. That's okay. It's all on purpose, right? They are meant to be that way and we are meant to be our way so that we can be compatible for each other. And with this shadow of limitation, I have seen this show up in different aspects of our relationship, right? Whether we're talking about going on a vacation or picking a restaurant, or most recently, it's been about having a baby. Like, I am desperate, not desperate, I am very eager to get pregnant because I love him so much, and every cell in my body is wanting that. And with him in this shadow of limitation, it tends to show up as this way of perceiving the obstacles that would limit us from moving forward, whether that again is having a baby or going on a vacation and like picking the places that we want to go or picking a restaurant. He kind of tends to bring those things up first. And so for me, with my open ajna, I am like, whoa, 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 let's look at all of the different options here. And whenever we first got together, before I started really diving into our gene keys, I was like, oh man, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can deal with that because it seems like we're constantly just like bumping into these obstacles, right? And then once I started to understand, like, oh, this is like a natural aspect that he is meant to bump into in life. And it's not bad or wrong. It's predispositioned in his genetics and in his spirit and in his emotions and the way that he perceives the world to view things this way. And it's really trying to lend him towards this gift of realism, which is all about understanding that obstacles are inevitable, but still finding these creative solutions and ways to work around those obstacles while being realistic and like problem solving, right? And the highest expression that he's embodying whenever he moves through that gift of realism is that he gets to embody justice. And it's all about this natural balance of the universe creating balance in whatever happens. It's like it's all for us and it's all perfect and divine. And it's like all systems will create order in the bigger picture and justice will be served in a way. And so now that I know these things about him, I do bring my open ajna and my curiosity and just my perspective of being like, oh, well, what about this? And what if that's not true? And what do you think about looking at it this way and different things like that? I don't make it mean that he's doing anything wrong or that our relationship's not going to work out or that he's difficult or anything that I used to think at the beginning whenever I was in that super highty flighty, dysregulated energy to where I was very energetically sensitive. I've been able to really calm myself down and ground into him and ground into us and our relationship and myself and recognize and extend empathy and compassion and understanding and forgiveness and acceptance to he and I both about how our energetics play into our relationships. And so that's why I am such an advocate for human design and gene keys and being in devotion to love and really taking responsibility for your role in the relationship. And, this isn't to say that Christian's into the gene keys because he's not, but it doesn't take him to do this work for the gene keys to support our relationship because I'm doing the work with the gene keys. And it only takes one person in the dynamic to flip it and to create more harmony and to create more love and more reciprocity and respect and all of these things. It starts with awareness and it starts by being the one who's willing to take a look and learn. And honestly, you guys, I mentioned this before. I'm going to say it again. The Gene Keys book is super cheap. It's like $13. And the audio transmissions are either $2 a piece for the individual Gene Keys, or it's $100 for the entire 64 Gene Key audio library. And you know me, I'm going to suggest the whole thing because once you start to dive into this work, you're not only going to want to look at your gene keys, but you're going to want to look at the gene keys of your partner, and they are not going to be the same unless you are a twin born at the exact same ish time as the other person. Your gene keys are going to be different, and you're probably going to want to look up the gene keys of your kids or of your parents or of your siblings or of your friends or what have you. And so I do recommend the audio library. If you can't swing it, totally fine, but just wanted to throw all that out there that these can be really expansive and exciting to look into. And so I just wanted to mention those resources for you, and I'll link those for you in the show notes as well. So don't have to worry, you don't have to dig it out of the internet. I'll do that for you. Um, but this can really help you with understanding this law of energetic transmission and how your energies dance to each other and how you can start to read more into the subtler energetics that are playing a role in your relationship. And you don't have to take it personally, my babe. You can extend love and compassion and understanding first to yourself and to the situation, and then also to the other person. And that's what keeps your heart open. That's what devotion to love looks like. It's being in highest service to the benefit of everyone, right? What would love do? And so this is just a really beautiful example of the law of transmission and weaving it into the gene keys and human design. Even though I didn't really touch on that a whole lot today, I did talk about like the sacral energy that came through and about how his sacral is defined, mine is completely undefined and wide open, and also talking about the nervous system regulation and understanding aspect about how our nervous systems are constantly broadcasting and listening and responding to energy, and that of yourself and that of the other person. And when you start operating with this deeper awareness of what's actually happening, everything can change. And you can stop wondering why conversations might go sideways and start taking responsibility for the energy that you're bringing, but also the energy that you're receiving, right? Because everything outside of you is neutral until you place meaning on it. And so, even whenever you receive something from another person and you're noticing what that trigger is trying to show you, that's where the magic is, because you become conscious about what frequency that you're broadcasting and receiving instead of just hoping that good intentions will land or the way that you say something is going to flip things around. And I'm not saying that the way that you say something can't flip things around, but it really comes from the deeper energetics of, are you regulated or are you dysregulated? Because that's what's going to expand either more of that dysregulation, or potentially you can ground somebody else. And so this is the second piece of relationship physics. I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation. And in our final episode of the series next week, we're going to be diving into the law of energetic evocation and how how you're always pulling specific responses from your partner's system, and how to do it consciously so that you can create more of the connection that you're desiring instead of the conflict that can be destructive long term to your relationship. But for this week, please start noticing your energetic transmission and what you're receiving and broadcasting to the other person. And some questions that you can ask yourself or carry in your back pocket is, what frequency are you broadcasting? What energy is your partner transmitting? And how does your nervous system respond whenever they come home stressed or anxious, or whenever they come home excited and calm and peaceful? Because this can help you begin to see the invisible energy exchanges that are happening 24/7 in your relationship. And your awareness of this alone will start to shift how you show up. And so I love you so much. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. And just for funsies, I actually didn't mention this earlier in the episode, but I will drop the body wisdom guide in the show notes. That's perfect for you if you really want help in regulating your nervous system and being more consciously aware of, taking a pause in those moments of potential dysregulation, or whenever you're getting ready to have a hard conversation, and how to really start to create that calmness in your body and to drop into your intuition and your wisdom. And I created a really juicy activation practice to support you with that you can follow along to. Just pop in your earbuds and take some breaths and really just ground into that audio to support you in any time and any place that you may need it. And please do tune in for next week's episode, as we're going to dive into the final part of this series, where we're going to be talking about how to consciously create the responses that you want instead of accidentally triggering the responses that you don't. And it's really going to tie everything together in as practical of a way as I possibly can. And so I'm super excited for that. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Please come into my DMs on Instagram at I am Kaya Dawn and let me know how this episode landed with you, and or share it with a friend, because every woman, I believe, needs to know this information about themselves, about their nervous system, about human design, about gene keys, about sacred devotion, and creating the conscious relationships that we all crave as spiritual, high achieving women who want that balance and that reciprocity and that safety in our relationships. So I will catch you again soon. As always, be brave, not perfect, and I'll see you next time. I hope this episode reminded you that life and love are supposed to feel safe and expansive, and gave you clarity on the next right step you can take in your relationship. If so, please take 30 seconds to leave a review. Each one helps get this content into the ears and hearts of women just like you. I'm excited to hang out again soon, having more conversations on how to create the relationships you've always dreamed of. Keep following what feels expansive, babe. You're so worthy of it all.